All right, we can go ahead and get started here. Don't want to waste anyone's time. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Camille, and I'm on our instant quote team here at Apogee. So, with July 1st right around the corner, we're excited to talk through how Apogee can support your nonprofit needs. We'll cover product features, coverage options, selling points, and just show you how easy it is to quote through our platforms. So today we're joined by Hillary Buckley and Connor Dunn from our sister company, USLI, and they're going to walk through, how to write these risks and how to quote them instantly. So with that, I will turn it over to Connor to get us started.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Camille. And once again, thank you to everyone for joining us here today. Hillary and I are really excited, more so to dive into some of these human and social services that we can write here at USLI and how you can quickly and easily quote these through Apogee. With that, once again, my name is Connor Dunn. I'm one of our instant quote sales specialists that works over here at USLI with Apogee. And then with me, we have Hillary Buckley, who works on our nonprofit team as an underwriter. So before we go ahead and get things kicked off, just want to remind everyone that everybody is on mute for the duration of the webinar. If you do have any questions, comments, anything of that nature throughout the course of the webinar, please feel free to put those in the chat box, which is in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Hillary, Camille, and I will all be monitoring that, so we'll be able to answer those questions as they come in. But with that, I will kick it over to Hillary to go ahead and get us started.
Thanks, everyone. Good to be with you today. So we're going to go through an overview of USLI. And as Camille had mentioned earlier, right now is a huge time that we're writing a ton of social service risks. It's the start of the fiscal calendar for a lot of nonprofits. So we'll go over a lot of the classes that we're able to consider, the coverages that we can offer, how to get a quick quote at the end. Connor is going to do a great demonstration to see how easy these are to quote. And we'll go ahead and get started. So who is USLI? We are rated A++ by AM Best, and we're a Berkshire Hathaway company. We're committed to make a difference, and we really pride ourselves on our service. So, being able to get a quick quote is very important, and being able to talk to people is also important. We pride ourselves on being able to do that with you. We have the ability to quote over the phone, via email, and also online. So when we look at the social service opportunity out there, there are 439,000 out there that are registered. We can consider even more than that. They don't have to be registered as a 501c3 as long as they're operating as a nonprofit. We're okay to consider. And I've included a few stats on the slide here just so you can see the opportunity that exists out there. There are so many different classes of business that we can consider and a lot of vulnerable populations that nonprofits are helping throughout the community and beyond. It continues to be one of the fastest growing segments in our country. Our team has seen double-digit growth in terms of premium for the past decade, I would say. And then in terms of the industry in general, it continues to grow 5% each year. We found that no matter what type of economy we're in, whether the economy is down, a lot of nonprofits are forming, or if the economy is doing really well, people have more money to donate. Nonprofits continue to grow and grow each year. And a reason that they're a good area to focus on is because they're easy to identify. If you go on a website called causeIQ.com, you can easily type in a zip code, a segment, and really find a ton of leads. They have contact information on there as well. So you can go ahead and find a lot of nonprofit opportunities in your area. And again, very large book of business for us starting on July 1st, a lot of renewals coming in and a lot of companies are remarketing them. So right now is the time to get those 7/1 renewals over to us. We would love to look at them for you. So we'll go over the coverages that we're able to offer. We can provide the general liability. We will also provide a separate limit for the professional errors and admissions. So for any type of professional, like a counselor or a teacher, someone that's providing a service on behalf of the organization, will cover them. Abuse and molestation is a critical coverage to have in place, especially for organizations focused on youth. We can provide limits up to $1 million, $3 million on the underlying policy. All of our products will provide you with special event coverage on a blanket basis. We can do, for this product in particular for social services, events up to 1,000 people, including host liquor. So coverage would follow them wherever they go. They don't have to have a separate special event policy. We'll provide the hired and non-owned auto. We can include the property, including the business, personal property, and building coverage. Will do limits up to $3 million total insured value. And then a critical coverage we'll get into a little bit more later, but management liability for the board members and volunteers on behalf of the organization. We can include crime and then excess and umbrella as well in case they need higher limits. So we're going to get into these specific classes that I have listed here. We have so many different types that we can consider. If you don't see them specifically listed out here, that doesn't mean we can't write it, but feel free to chat in the chat box if you have any questions about a specific type of risk. We'd love to, kind of talk that through. So we'll start with the behavioral health, wellness, and counseling target classes. So this kind of deals mostly with counseling, but also with at-risk youth. We can provide support services to all different types of groups of people, depending on, what segment it is. Maybe this time of year, Pride Month coming up, we are seeing a ton of LGBTQ type of community center and support services. We do a lot when it comes to career help and guidance, whether they're providing counseling for them or, helping refer them to other places. All different types of mental health, including addiction, anger management type of services. We'll do prison counseling as well as referral. So community programs are the type of nonprofits that you can kind of see on a main street in most communities. So think of your community centers, food banks, soup kitchens, thrift stores, or senior activity centers, also animal shelters as well. A lot of these are places where people in the community can gather or get resources and things that they need that the community is able to provide for them. Most of these you'll be able to quote online through our online platform. Another item I should note is that all of these classes that I'm talking about are all able to be quoted over the phone. So if you call in with the demo that Connor is able to, that Connor is going to provide, you'll be able to, talk these risks through with an underwriter. We also have a segment focused on developmentally disabled and those with special needs. So whether they're providing them with services or group homes, vocational programs, help with job training, or even just like a social interaction, we have the ability to provide coverage for those organizations as well. And we have a large focus on organizations providing educational services. We do a ton of youth after school programs and tutoring and mentoring that also kind of can carry on into the summer, so camp exposures, but we do a lot for adults as well. So it could be like language classes, cultural type of classes, reading programs. We have been seeing a lot of homeschool support groups as well. Just saw a question come in, are you a market for American Legions, Moose Clubs, et cetera? We absolutely are. We have a whole other product specifically dedicated to writing those types of organizations, and they can be quoted over the phone as well. Supportive residential living, we can consider abuse, adult shelters, halfway homes, homeless shelters, hospice, sober living, transitional housing. And we went through the coverages at the beginning, but for all these classes of business, we can consider all the coverages built on one policy for these types of nonprofits. Youth support services, I would say youth programs make up a big chunk of our book. We do a lot in this space. As I mentioned, the abuse coverage is critical. A lot of other carriers may be pulling out of providing the higher limits for abuse. So definitely think about utilizing our phone quoting platform to get that coverage in place for these organizations. We do a lot in the STEM world as well. So they're involved with like robotics, all different types of hobbies and activities for youth and training and mentoring. Please think of us in Apogee. I wanted to dedicate a slide to the management liability. We just really want to educate everyone on the importance of having the directors and officers as well as employment practices coverage on the policy. For the board members, it's super important for them to have the coverage in place because their personal assets could be at stake for the decisions that they make on behalf of the organization. So it will cover the individual directors and officers, and then the employment practices liability. We provide, third-party discrimination coverage as well. We've really seen a big uptick in the frequency on the employment practices liability side. And I would say the most common misconception with management liability for nonprofits is that employment practices would not extend to volunteers, which is not true. We would cover volunteers as well as employees. And to answer Grace's question here, we can absolutely do D&O on a standalone basis. It doesn't have to be packaged. That's kind of the nice thing about working with us. You can kind of get the different coverage parts that you need. We would love to package it all in one policy, but we can also work with you on what makes sense. Some recent successes and trending classes is here to give you an idea of some different unique kinds of risks that we're seeing, some holistic health and wellness programs, abused adult shelters, a cafe that's employing developmentally disabled adults, a homeschool co-op program, a French bulldog rescue, STEM camps, before and after school programs, and then human trafficking survivor programs. There are so many different types of unique risks that are really, fun to kind of discuss and talk through. There's just so many unique exposures. So being able to talk to an underwriter is really crucial to better understand and cover the risk properly. So how can we work together to help you? As I mentioned, you'll be able to talk to a whole team of knowledgeable underwriters. There's about 40 of us that specifically focus on nonprofits at USLI. We're admitted in most states. And again, we don't require proof of the 501c3 status, and we don't require an application. If they're a startup, we're okay to quote those. And we provide a lot of resources that are available to policyholders on the Business Resource Center. So things like abuse policies that they can implement, discounted background checks. If it's a sports organization and we require concussion training, they can have access to that on there. So a ton of different resources that are available to you. And instant quoting, so being able to quote this on the phone and online for this segment is pretty unique. So really kind of emphasize that there. Something that I'm going to turn it over to Connor to talk to you a little bit more about.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Hillary. And once again, great questions, everyone. If anybody does have any questions, maybe about our nonprofit products or anything, that they may have coming up that they just want to run by Hillary, again, feel free to put those in the chat. But as Hillary hit on a couple times throughout that segment, there's a lot of very quick and easy ways in which you can quote with us here at USLI through Apogee. First and foremost is going to be through our instant phone quoting platform. And what is that? Well, to boil it down, it's the quickest and easiest way to get a quote available here at USLI. As a customer of Apogee's, you have access to their dedicated phone number, that being 888-845-1637, where you can dial in and get connected to our team of over 90 underwriters. From there, we'll ask you some key rating and information questions in order to generate a premium. And what's really nice is after the quoting process, our underwriters will email you over a copy of the quote directly along with a pre-filled application. So again, we're trying to quote this stuff very quickly for you over the phone, but also hopefully helping to save time on the back end when it comes to some of these applications that you may be needing. Again, we're just one of the many markets that you have access to through Apogee. So if for some reason you give us a call and it's just something that we're not a fit for here at USLI, we'll always refer you back over to Apogee for help with their other markets. So really just looking to help streamline that process. And again, making quoting these nonprofits as quick and easy as possible for you. So the benefits of Instant Quote, well, first and foremost, it really helps to save time. So as I hit on earlier, there's no cord forms or applications that are needed up front, which a lot of people love to see. And then from there, again, after the quoting process, any information that we receive will populate on a pre-filled application that will be sent to you directly along with a copy of that quote. There's a level of flexibility that comes from this. So again, if you're out on the road with an insured, or if you have somebody here in your office, you can always reach out to our team of underwriters to discuss those accounts further. As Hillary mentioned, there's a lot of expertise when it comes to quoting these products. We typically tend to see that no two nonprofits are alike. So being able to chat with Hillary or a member of her team really right there over the phone helps to make sure that, again, we're getting you the right quote for the risk that you have on your desk and getting that to you in a quick fashion. And then last but not least, there's that accessibility factor. So I'm not sure where everyone in here is located, but our team of underwriters are available outside of your typical 9 to 5 hours. So we can be reached from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, as well as 9 to 1 on Saturdays. So again, just hopefully helping to maybe quote that business for you outside of typical business hours. So what we're going to do today is I really just want to show you just how quick and easy it is to quote some of these accounts that Hillary had dove into right through the phone with our Instant Quote team. But before I do that, I just want to highlight our Instant Quote postcard. So I always tell everybody the most important part of this postcard is that phone number up top. Feel free to give us a call. We're more than happy to chat about what's on your desk. But outside of that, you can write a number of different products, that being across not just commercial lines, so those small Main Street businesses, but also across our specialty lines such as professional and nonprofit, hospitality and liquor, and then a lot of special event coverage as well. So maybe you see something on this postcard that you need a quote for here today. Please feel free to give our team of underwriters a call, and we're more than happy to dive into that further. I did see that we got a quote from Richard. So just want to dive in that before we give a call over to the Instant Quote team. Are you able to compare, let's say, current place D&O or EPLI coverage with the USLI form? Hillary, are you able to just speak to Richard's question just in regards to comparing the current place D&O or EPLI coverage?
Yeah, we would be happy to take a look. I'm sure Apogee would as well. But we would definitely look, and I would say we stack up to, we're very competitive in the D&O space. But we would absolutely be willing to look apples to apples and compare. And then I'm looking at the next question here for the LLC who does marriage family counseling, does not have a license. We would be happy to look at this counseling risk as well, whether or not it's nonprofit or for-profit.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Hillary. Again, any other questions, please feel free to just chat those in. These are great. But with that, I'm going to dial into our Instant Quote team real quick, and we will get a quote for a social service here. So.
Connor, you're on mute.
Yes, I can.
Perfect. So as I mentioned, we have our friends at Apogee here today, and we are just looking to get a quote for a social service account.
Okay, great. What is the name of the food bank?
So this is just going to be Test Food Bank.
Got it.
Quick and easy.
Okay. And were you looking for general liability, property?
Can we do GL and D&O for this account?
Of course. Okay, and is this in Pennsylvania?
This is.
Okay. Okay, so I'll put test food bank here. And just put in a fake address. Mm, okay, and what would be the square footage of the food bank?
1,500 square feet.
Okay. And do you know the number of employees or volunteers?
Yes, so they have 2 full-time and then about 5 part-time volunteers.
Okay. And do you know their annual revenue?
Yes, about 50,000.
Great. Any other exposures with the food bank?
Nope, truly just a food bank.
Okay. Okay, I have a quote here for you. 1 second. Okay, so pending subjectivities, we have an admitted quote for you that is written on United States Liability Insurance Company paper, AM Best A++ rated. The general liability is 852 and the management D&O EPLI is 885. There is a $75 wholesaler broker fee, bringing the total to 1812.
Awesome. Well, thank you,
Is
Kristen.
there
Really
anything else I can
appreciate
help
your
you with?
help with that one.
You
No, I
got
think
it.
that's it for
Anything else
today.
I can help you with? All right, thanks, Connor. Have a good one.
Thank you. Same to you.
Bye.
So as everyone can see, really quick and easy. Again, with just a couple pieces of information, Kristen was able to help quote that account for us. And then following the quoting process, what she's doing is she's emailing over a copy of the quote along with that pre-filled application. Hillary had briefly touched on our Business Resource Center a little bit earlier, so those will be some of the point of sale materials that will get sent along with the copy of the quote and the application as well. Apogee is always kept in the loop, so they'll receive a copy of your quote at the same exact time. And then should this be something that you and your insured would like to move forward with, all bind requests should be sent to your contact over at Apogee, and we do provide those binding instructions along with a copy of the quote. So just to wrap things up, again, really want to highlight just the different ways that you can quote with us here at USLI through Apogee. So again, our instant phone quote team is a great avenue, not just for these nonprofit risks, but even anything small business related. So all you need to do is dial into Apogee's dedicated phone number, that being 888-845-1637. Just as a reminder, there's no cord forms that are needed in order to quote with us. And again, our underwriters are happy to help anytime from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, as well as 9 to 1 Eastern time on Saturdays. And then if you are somebody that likes to quote over the web as well, we do have an avenue for you that way. You can either head right to Apogee's main page, in which you can access their online quoting raters, or you can visit this URL here below, apogeeinsgroup.usli.com. From there, you would just select the Start a Quote button, and you would be able to log in and quote new business here over the web. So with that, again, we really want to thank you all for your time here today. We hope you found this beneficial. Again, there's a lot of things, especially as we approach that 7/1 renewal date, that we can help with here at USLI. So please do feel free to reach out, and we'd love to see where we can help you with those accounts. With that, we'll hang out here for a couple more minutes, but if there is anybody that has any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat, and we can answer those. But once again, thank you, everyone.
Well, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you both. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you. I appreciate you helping to coordinate this all.
Yeah, of course.
Well, have a great
All right, I
afternoon,
think we're good.
everyone. Talk
You
soon.
too.
Talk to you guys
Bye,
soon.
guys.
Bye.
See ya.